Welcome back to Sushi Radio with your host, Distant Bubble. And, I'm back in the studio with my co-host.
Astxia, it's your boy, mate.
Yeah!
Yeah,
Yeah! He's
yeah.
back! He's
But
back.
here's the question: why am I not sitting here?
That's true. Why aren't you sitting there?
Because we have a guest.
This is a monumental moment for us.
Yes, come on in, guest.
Guess,
Yeah,
we
come on in.
welcome you to our radio.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I am
Hello.
guest. Hello, thanks for having me, guys.
He's
Yeah,
Jest.
yeah.
Please
Go.
introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Rice.
Okay, well, I mean, before you came to us, you mentioned to me before how you wanted today's topic to be about adventuring into adulthood.
Yeah, it was just kind of when you asked me like what we should talk about, I was like, I don't know what's kind of interesting and kind of relevant to us all, but not something completely boring like I don't know taxes. So yeah, I just thought venturing into adulthood is something we'd all talk about because we're all kind of currently going through it right now.
So, what would you both define adulthood as then?
Well, for me, I would
Um,
I would think about having a job with your income, and you're basically living on your own. That's what I think it's adulthood is.
that's
Mm,
true, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a different opinion about this?
not particularly. I would say that's roughly what everyone would assume adulthood is, where you're living by yourself without the support of, a school or your family, and you're having to just
Yeah,
do
I think that's the main
everything by
thing, like,
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
like having, like, not being dependent on other people or,
Yeah.
like, being able to just sustain yourself without having to rely on, anyone else, having to actually do the things you want to do. Well, you can have support, but not just kind of be reliant on others.
That's very true. I mean, adulthood is, I would say, rather difficult to get the hang of when you're first entering, you know? Because obviously, when you enter adulthood, you have a lot of things that you learn for the first time, yeah, such as paying taxes, you have access and, the capability to a large sum of money. So you have to learn how to manage that money. You have to learn how to budget yourself. You have to learn how to, you know, prioritize certain necessities within your life. Especially when it comes to housing. Housing is a big issue when it comes to being an adult. You have housings that finding the right house, finding the right location, so many things to worry about.
Yeah, and it's one of the top two like biggest purchases you will have like in your life, like a house, and then the second would be like a car if you want to drive. But yeah, housing is something you gotta put a lot of thought into it, even if you're just renting, because it's a big thing. It's a big part of your life.
Yeah. I mean, you're
Yeah.
basically gonna be there every single day. So I guess it's like a really important thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like,
I mean, well,
uh,
what?
I used to have this apartment where like everything was really old, and the shower wasn't that great either. So I had a really tough time living there, and I felt like I was like really exhausted, even though I was at home, because I didn't like it there. So yeah, I think it's a really important part in your life.
Well, then, when, since we're all from like different aspects of the country, no, not really different aspects, Rice and myself are, from within the same region. Currently, you're based within South Korea. So maybe we could shed some light on the differences in terms of housing and how, adulthood standardly is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
You guys can start first, because I'm kind of curious.
Okay,
Okay.
let's stick
Mhm.
with UK.
Mhm.
Alright, so
UK
take it
adulthood.
away.
I'm sorry, Rice. Do you wanna take over?
No, no, no,
You can
no,
take the
no, no.
initiative. Okay,
Um,
so
well, I don't really know how to buy a house.
you don't really know how to buy a house.
I mean, I do, but you
Incredible
know,
English.
I mean,
Incredible
you
English.
can. I don't know how to buy a house.
Yeah.
You know, you can
I
start.
mean,
You can start.
okay. So, with Britain, especially depending on where you live, housing is priced very differently. So, and I'm sure that's with most countries, but I don't think it's as drastic as Britain in terms of living in London or living in a big city and not living in a city, because the housing prices just escalate to an insane level for no apparent reason if you live within London specifically.
Yeah,
You
Uh-huh.
I
know,
feel like it's anywhere in
even
London now.
even hotels in London are extremely expensive.
Oh,
If for one
yeah,
night you would have to pay roughly £160.
yeah. Wait, I don't think hotels count as towards housing. I mean, I don't think it counts as housing though.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, along the points of like expensive, how expensive London is. Just
Oh
for
yeah,
an
just like
example.
being able to stay under a roof with a bed and heating and
Yeah,
showering. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
You know, but generally speaking, if you go outside of London or outer London, housing prices go less. It's not as expensive, especially if you're not within London. So if you live in the suburbs or just rural areas, then housing prices is really quite cheap. I mean, but houses out there is much better than they are in London because you have the space. So London's no, Britain's weird. Yeah, Britain's weird in the sense of if you live far away from London, then other things are more expensive. Like a certain individual would have expensive cars or expensive gym equipment, or their housing furniture would be way more expensive.
Yeah.
Like for the same thing,
I
or
I don't no, just so in London you would have it would be expensive, but not as expensive as those who live in rural areas who have the space. Because you could go to a rural area and not all the time, but quite often if you go, there are a few spots that are the rich rural areas where you see Ferraris, Lamborghinis,
oh,
McLarens,
okay.
just high quality cars, high end cars.
Mm-hmm.
Because the focus when you live not in a city is different. The focus is more on your assets instead of your house.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's how it works. I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
how about South Korea?
I mean, I think it really depends. I think it's also like about something like London, like UK, because if you live like let's just say you live in Seoul, but like there's also like a lot of different places. Like there's like where people like where normal people lives and where rich people lives and where poor people lives. But like it really depends on which which place you're living in, but I guess the difference here is rich people just don't go to places where normal people or like poor people lives. I think that's the biggest difference.
Mm,
Yeah, rich people
so the
being
rich
rich.
stay with the rich only.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Uh,
But if you go
that's okay.
outside of Seoul, because Seoul is like the state of Korea, and like it gets cheaper if you like kind of get away from Seoul. And there's some cities that
Mm,
are actually like really cheap compared to other cities as well. So it's like it depends more on like where you're living.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, that's
you know,
fair.
I've been told by other Korean friends that generally speaking, housing in Korea in general is quite expensive and difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas Britain, I would say it's the same, but I don't think it's on the same level as Korea because, obviously here you would have mortgages and rent, and obviously you have them in other countries, but
Mhm.
given I don't know South Korea's circumstances and its laws and system, but I feel like the UK system is less harsh on that system in comparison to South Korea because I have a lot more Korean individuals who speak to me and they inform me about how housing and lifestyle in Korea is just generally more intense, more hard in terms of not having that governmental support.
Yeah. I mean, I think in Korea, the governments are the one who's actually raising the prices as well. So,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
Very
wow. Wait,
unfortunate.
how do they do that? Do they just tell all the like house lenders, I guess,
so,
or house
so
brokers?
it's like um they raise the taxes, and due to the taxes, like everything gets more expensive. And I think the one who gets the most effect is housing. So I think that's how it
Oh,
works.
damn.
Yeah.
Quick question, what is your tax price? Like, what's the tax percentage in South Korea?
I don't really know because I never paid taxes myself yet.
Oh,
Yep.
I mean, in
That's
Britain, the
weird.
tax percentage as it is right now is 20%.
Yeah, for like 90, for like, yeah, for most people, we're talking about income tax, right?
Yeah, income tax.
Yeah, this is pretty much 20% for
Mhm.
the average Joe or Jane.
Well, back to our original agenda. Adulthood is something everyone has to face, no matter how hard you try not to. Because obviously, even in adulthood, you can still have a childish manner, a childish outlook on how you deal with things. However, you can't disregard the responsibilities that come with adulthood.
Yep.
Yeah, can we talk about that real quick? Like,
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
do
sure.
people seem, why do people seem to, like, I don't know, what makes adulthood so, I don't know, it might be a pretty obvious answer, but what makes adulthood so, like, daunting for people that don't want to just, like, I don't know, I assume, like, as kids, I know I did, but, like, when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be an adult, I could do everything on my own, and all this and all of that, but now, like, actually, pretty much, at the door of this house we call being an adult, I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to go inside.
I mean, for me, when I was a kid, I didn't want it to be an adult because every single adult seems
Okay.
really boring and lifeless. I just like being a kid, so I cannot really relate.
Oh,
But the thing
okay,
that I could
well,
relate is I do not want to pass that door either.
yeah.
So when I was like, I don't know, when I was
Well, I
like
feel that.
12, 11, that was like, oh, I do not want to be an adult. I just want to be a kid.
Oh, what about being a kid? Yeah, what about being a kid made you want to think, yeah, I don't want to be an adult ever?
Uh, like I said, all adults look boring, lifeless.
Oh, okay.
Like they didn't had a specifics. Like it felt like they didn't had a soul in them. They're just doing to like
Oh.
live. But us kids, we can do like
Okay.
what we want, even though it's like limit. Like even though it's limited, we can do what we want. Like, and we can enjoy
Okay,
stuff
that's
before
true.
being an adult. That's like, yeah, I knew that when
Ah,
I was like 11 or 12. That's why I'd be like, nope, not being an adult.
okay.
I
That's
get
pretty
what you
good.
Yeah.
mean. I mean, for most people, that's the general trend. When you're a kid, you want to be an adult. When you're an adult, you want to be a kid. And I think the reason behind that is when you're an adult, obviously you have so much more worries,
And
but
responsibilities.
obviously Yeah, but as a child, you also have the same. Not to undermine any of a child's experience to an adult's experience because they're both valid. But I think the key point is if a child makes a mistake, there's no snowball effect. Whereas when you make a mistake as an adult, there's a snowball of issues that come with it. That's why people don't like it. And generally speaking, as an adult, most people end up doing jobs they don't want to do because they just need the money. And as a kid, you don't have a job, but you are basically having fun with your friends. You're doing whatever you want. You're able to go out. That's basically what people miss. Having things be determined already or partially predetermined for you. So you don't have to worry and you don't have to, be restricted as much as an adult would. But I mean, evidently, you have a lot of people that end up not doing what they want. And that's I don't say it's their own fault,
I think it's
but
more like
sometimes
like
it is.
about, you know, yeah, it's like you said, it's a snowball effect. You need money, you just get any job, but you can't get out of it. You don't have time to like start all over again. That's why you're just doing what you are. So maybe that's about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, adulthood's very hard.
It hits you
I
like
mean,
a
look at
truck.
us right here.
Adulthood's
It hits you like a
yeah,
truck.
adulthood's pretty
Astxia and
sucky.
myself, yeah, Astxia and myself right
Yeah.
here, we're just trying to earn a living from our radio show. We appreciate you, Rice, so much for coming here.
Oh, no problem.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm very glad that you guys were willing to have me on. And just talking is cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I do have a second job, so.
Yeah, I'm about to get a second job, but yeah.
No.
What?
Yeah, actually. So yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah, I
so
mean,
in Korea, even though you're a university student, a lot of parents are willing to support you because you still have to study and you still have to get good grades before getting a job.
mm-hmm.
And
I mean, in Korea, you have to pay for university fees, don't you?
true, but it's more like you cannot earn that much with part-time jobs like in UK
That's
or
true.
other
I mean,
countries because
no,
Yeah.
see, no, it's not. No, you couldn't earn that much in UK either. The difference is, in Britain, the government pay for you to go to university.
oh, okay, that's
So
a really big difference. That's a really big
your
difference.
Unless you're
bachelor degree,
loaded.
your bachelor degree is paid for by the government, and you gradually pay that off. And we have a system for it. And basically, when you get your first job, if you make more than 24,000 or 24,000 annually, that's when they start taking money away from your paycheck to pay for your uni. If you
Oh,
make
it's
less than
basically
that,
it's basically student debt.
they
Oh,
don't take it.
Yeah, pretty
Yes,
much.
but
It
the
actually
thing is,
works
it's
pretty
not as
interestingly.
devastating.
mm.
It's not as
Yeah,
devastating
people.
as American student debt.
Yeah, people think it's this huge, these huge sums of money that you have to pay off as soon as you start. As soon as you exit university or as soon as you graduate. But I kind of read up on this because I gotta since I finished and everything, I read up on how it all works. So basically, it's not even. I think 24 grand is kind of the right annual income that they base it off of, but it's actually based off your monthly income. So how it works is, let's say, yeah, if you were to times it by 12, then it is around 21, 24 grand, but officially it's per month. So how it would work is, let's say you have, let's say you finish uni and you have a job. There's thresholds that the government talks about. I think it's all in the government website. I think the threshold right now is 1 685. I'm just gonna say £1,600, like for simplicity's sake, and it's how much more you earn over that, and it's 9% of that. Like, to put numbers into it, let's say you're luckily earning like $2,000 a month. Like, whoa, that's amazing. And then, the difference between the 1.6k and the $2,000 is 400. 9% of that £400 is how much you pay back as your debt. So that's how it works.
As
Like,
you
people,
can see,
they're gonna be
Britain
paying like
has some nice systems.
Yeah, like you're gonna be paying it off for like, I don't know, the next 30 years or so, since you're paying so little. But you know, they don't make it seem like they're not just trying to take your money.
Yeah, it's like, whereas, you know, in America, you don't pay off student debt. It has interest on it, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And then it just accumulates again and again, and you're just consistently stuck in debt. Whereas in Britain, we have an
Yeah.
entire system for it.
Yeah, I think they add on interest the more money, like, if how much you're earning is like loads over the interest, and they try and add interest on you, which is kind of taking advantage of you. If you ask me, like, oh, he's earning so much money, yeah, we can take some more of him. But you know, if you're earning that much money that the government is taking more interest off of like your earnings, then I think you can afford to give the government, like, you know,
A wee bit more,
I mean,
yeah.
logically, you would expect people who are extremely wealthy to have a higher income tax. And that's yeah, because obviously they earn way more money than a standard worker, a standard person who's just working a single, 9 to 5 job. So it's not easy for them to consistently pay those taxes. I mean, we do. It's just sort of unfair if a person who has millions only pays so little.
Yeah, that's true. Taxes are also actually pretty interesting. I know I said it was boring in one of the outtakes.
Okay,
True.
maybe we can talk about a little bit of the good side of adulthood, and then we can, finish today's episode.
Wrap things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
So what is this good side of adulthood?
Well, you get to drink
can
alcohol.
drink, you can
Yeah.
drive.
You can
That's
drive. You
true.
can drink.
Hold on.
Oh,
Wait
right,
a minute.
yeah.
Don't drink and drive. No drinking and
Oh
driving.
yeah, that was very we didn't
You
mean to
can
talk
drink.
about that in the same sentence.
You can drive, but do not drink and drive. Okay, that is
No, at
that is the
same
way to say it.
time.
Yes.
That is the
Yes.
same thing. So, yeah.
That's true. Is that really the only good thing about
Maybe
adulthood?
the good thing about adulthood is you have no limitations. Like, you can do whatever you want, but here's the catch: you have to take
Almost.
responsibility for it. No, you can do
Okay,
whatever
yeah,
you
there
want.
you go.
Yeah,
You
that
can
is
do
true.
whatever
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want, but you have to take responsibility for what you did.
You have to be prepared to accept consequences.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there are good things to adulthood.
Yeah.
There are good things to adulthood. You have what? You have obviously freedom to choose what
What you want to do.
on your own actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people enjoy adulthood very differently because obviously everyone's different. So
True.
Yeah,
what
some
I
people
think
don't want
is
to go
fun,
into adulthood.
what I think is fun, you guys won't think it's fun. What other people think is fun, I won't think it's fun. But it's also nice because, in a sense, being an adult, you can reward yourself since you have your own income. You're able to spend your
True.
money on things you like and what you feel is a necessity in your life. Yeah. So, I guess, just to wrap things up. Yeah, just to wrap things up. Adulthood, it's a hard journey to go through, and
It's a
it's a
great
very long
journey.
Yeah. But, when you reach adulthood,
Yeah.
there are good things to it. Don't
Yeah.
drink and drive.
Yeah.
And you also have to
Don't do
accept
drugs
that you are
either.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You have to
Yeah,
accept that you are actually becoming an adult. Don't try and kind of hold on to the past because you want to play games with your friends all night, you know?
I mean, you can do that as an adult.
Oh, you can, true, but
It's
realistically
like really
speaking,
different. It's like really different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah,
Of
like
course.
the risks and consequences. It's not like, your parents are just gonna be like, yeah, just get off your computer, time to go to bed. Like, there'll be serious consequences if you're still doing what you're doing as a kid when you're like, I don't know, 22, 23.
Yes. You have to nag yourself. You
Hmm.
go home, you say, look at this mess. Why have I not cleaned my house?
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta
You
look
know?
at yourself and kind of assess your life like, hey, is this where I want to be right now? Can I do something
Yeah.
about it? And more often than not, the answer is yes. You can do something about it, you're just not trying hard enough.
True. True.
Uh,
Okay. Maybe.
well,
Yeah.
Rice, would you care to close up today's show?
Yeah, sure. I don't really know if you guys do an outro, but yeah, thank you for listening to Sushi Radio. This has been an amazing experience. I hope I get invited again. Wink,
Of
wink.
course. Of course.
Of
Oh,
course, you're
yay.
welcome back.
But yeah, these
I'm your
two
host, Distant
lovely
Bubble.
hosts.
And I'm your co-host,
Yeah,
Astxia.
buddy.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video.